Well, hello, good afternoon, morning, and evening, whenever you see this. This is Dee with Older INFP Insights, and I'm coming to you this evening to just give you a quick video. I had kind of promised to see if I could find a pumpkin patch for October, and I found out that they all take reservations on the farms around here now. The city's grown so much that they're paying the city folks to have the little kids go out and see what it's like to get a pumpkin in a patch and not in the store. But, and not only reservations and you have to pay, but they're booked. So that won't happen. And I said I would go to the lake. Well, it's too cold. I'm giving you a fireplace and it's virtual, but that's fine. Yeah, it's really cold. It oh geez, it was 80 degrees yesterday and today it's in the 50s. The low was almost freezing. Yeah, so I've been inside hibernating. So I've got a fire going tonight. Virtual, but it does warm me up. But yeah, what I want to do is I will hopefully try to get to the lake. I'm not going to get to the pumpkin patch. But what I wanted to talk about is just a little bit about a video I saw, and I'm not trying to copycat, I'm just going to put it in my own words and give a shout out. There's a new channel out by an INFP called Psych Casserole. So check him out. He's got under, I think today was like 62 subscriptions. Don't leave here to go there. Wait. No, but do check him out. I can't remember his name. I can't really understand his name when he's talking. It's either Brennan or Brandon, but it's Psych Casserole, and he is a mental health counselor. He does the MBTI in general, and is an INFP male, which is interesting. And he does do the cognitive stacking and all of that, but he does it in a regular vernacular way and not the intellectual classroom scientific way, so that it is understood. So yeah, give him a shout out. I'm giving him a shout out. Go check that out. But what he was talking about is for INFPs to try to be ESTJs. And he went into it a little bit about doing each function individually, not all at one time. Don't try to be a total ESTJ. I think that'd give us a heart attack. For life balance. And I think that's a good idea, and I have mentioned that a little bit. And for those of you who are new to Myers-Briggs, the INF, and I won't do this in all the videos, just look it up. INFP stands for, it's an introvert, intuition, feeling, and perceiving functions. And that the opposite of that would be introvert or extrovert would be an extrovert, a sensor, sensing, thinking, and judging. And I'm not going to get into really specific details. My videos are just about everyday life experience that I've had to bring it down, hopefully, so that most people will understand it. I'm not going to get into comments that I've seen, whether it's SE, SITIM, the alphabet soup. I don't get into that. I will cover today a little about extroversion and sensing, because there are two things I know, and INFPs do judge. Actually, the INFP, the perceiving is actually a judging function, and it gets really complicated, and I don't want to try to understand that. But so I'm going to get into extrovert. Yeah, we have a tendency to like to be by ourselves, to be with ourselves. I just realized I haven't talked to anybody in like 4 or 5 days. And I'm perfectly content. I haven't, gosh, I can't remember when I went out I think it's been 3 days since I've been out of my house. It's been too cold. I will go out in 2 more days when it warms up. I have to get used to this weather. But so we can get to be introverted. I hear on other sites, I hear from other INFPs that, yeah, this is the way we are. We're quiet. We in our home. Don't bother us. So we're fine the way we are. This is who we are. No, I think Myers-Briggs is to the MBTI is just a tool. Any of these things are just a tool and kind of a snapshot, a snippet of who we are. And yes, we do need people. We are human beings and we are social. That comes from the social end of it, sociological end, and the psychological end. Be more extroverted. If I don't think it's hard for INFPs to be extroverted on their social media, online, using their phone. I don't have a smartphone. I have to use my laptop, but it's not hard for us to do that. I've been doing that instead of going outside. Try to go outside. Some of the things I do, most people think that I'm an extrovert. Anyway, I'm really shocked. Every time I take the test, I'm like, and it's depressing. It's kind of depressing to me because I come out to be like 80% introverted, I mean. I'm like, that's depressing. I don't know I'm that much of a lonely kind of person, but yeah. But most folks think I'm an extrovert. I do like to talk. INFPs do talk a lot, but we talk a lot around the people that we feel safe with, which is few and far between. But we do tend to talk a lot. But we do talk. What I do to get out, I don't have to be around people. I take my car for a ride because I don't want my car to die. And like the electrical part, because the batteries kind of run dead a couple of times during COVID when we couldn't go anywhere. And the guy from AAA told me to drive my car at least 16 miles a week or let it run an hour. And I used to just sit and let it run a half an hour. I used to let it just run, but I take the car for a spin. I get out and about. I really enjoy doing that. And I'll go into the grocery store, buy a few bananas or whatever, some fruit, something. And I don't have to really engage with people, but I am around people. And so try to do that for balance. Don't just stay totally to yourself, even though I know you are enjoying yourself. I know you are. We have very active mental lives, and we can find projects to do to stimulate us. We don't need anybody, but it is healthier. And I'm learning that too, because that's another thing. I won't get into that, but another thing with my health issue that I had about 6 months ago, and I'm trying to get over chronic fatigue, actually, from another thing. But it does help I find out it does help to socialize. And socialization, to me, a lot of times, just take it slow. Work your way up to maybe taking yourself out to eat. Even if you just go to the drive-thru instead of having it delivered. I'm so used to having everything delivered that it gets to be addictive. But go through the drive-thru starting out, and then you can go in by yourself and have takeout, and then work your way up. So it does make for a better, some ways that you can socialize without socializing, but it does make for better, healthy, I will say. It's better for your health physically. I have learned personally, and I know professionally, and I've learned now here the last 6 months personally, it's better for you to be out, and mentally also. So that's one thing to do, to be more extroverted. And then, of course, you can go out, if you feel like it, you can go out with friends, family, people you feel safe with, people you feel good with. and just do some one-on-one kind of things or small groups. And then there are other things that are a whole lot scarier, like meetups and take a class that where you have to show up. It's not on Zoom. It's not online. Things you have to, that's a little more intimidating if you really like to. If you really are introverted and really like to stay to yourself. The second thing, the last one I'm going to talk about is sensing, because we're intuitive. Again, I'm like 85% intuitive. I'm like in the INFP part. The first two I'm at least 80%, and the last two I'm barely there. So yeah, I'm really into it, or I'm not. That's probably an INFP thing also. So with sensing, and it has to do with your senses. I'm just going to bring it down to the very base level. There are other intellectual levels, whether it's introverted, extroverted, what it means, this, that, and the other, whether it's abstract or concrete. I'm going to get right down to the very basics, talking about senses, our senses: smell, touch, taste, seeing, hearing. Do something in that line. For example, I'm going to start this winter, because I don't think I'm going to go out much, I'm going to start baking again. I said that last winter. Here's a true story. I think it's kind of funny. Last winter I was going to bake for Christmas. Hadn't done that since my kids were little, and I was going to do that. And I bought the flour, and I bought the baking powder, baking soda, and all this stuff you have to have. I had none of it. So my microwave is my best friend. And so I was going to start doing that. Well, it turned out that December was like one of the warmest Decembers on record, so I didn't want to turn the oven on. And I actually went to the beach for a few days instead. So I had all this stuff, and February rolled around, and I still had it, hadn't opened any of it, so I ended up giving it to my neighbor who bakes a lot. And I said, I bought this for Christmas to make goodies with, cookies and whatnot. And I said, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. It did not here. So, but this year I am going to really make myself do that. Going to bake, going to cook a little bit. That is using my sensing. I'm going to work on my car. I can do some things. I call myself mechanically challenged, and that's what I think INFPs are. We're mechanically challenged. I just realized I moved here 5 years ago, and I bought some bar stools for my counter, and I was really proud that I was able to put them together. And I wondered why it had extra, like, screws to it. Like a whole lot, like a couple of dozen extra screws, but I got them together, and I've been sitting in these chairs for 5 years. Nothing wrong with them. They're starting to wobble a little bit. So my daughter, who is a very high in the sensory thing, she could be a mechanic. She works in the healthcare field, but she could be a mechanic. And she came over, and this chair was a little bit loose. And I said, will you tighten this up for me? And she looked, and she said, Mom, you don't have this put together. These are not extra screws. All these screws, all of these dozen screws or so need to be in these chairs. But it worked. I don't know. It works. So I've got it. Another project I have, so that's a sensory kind of thing, sensing thing. I'm going to work on my car. I can check the fluids. Some things I can do. With the engine, and I've got to check the power steering fluid. Now that's what I'm going to do. I've got to get the book and read it, the manual, and see if it needs to be changed. I'm going to check the power steering fluid. So that's another sensing thing. Whatever you may have around to start a hobby, just to use, go to a different restaurant. Try different foods. If microwave is your best friend too, you can go to the frozen food section and get the TV dinners, and they have healthy kinds, well, healthier kinds, and there's all kinds of foods, Italian, Thai, uh, Chinese, I mean, whatever, good old American. Just try different kinds of foods. I've learned to like avocados over the past 6 months. I tried that. That's different. That's tasting. That's sensing. Um, so do some things like that. You don't have to go rebuild your engine in your car or anything like that. That's major. But and get off your computer. I know that's kind of a sensory thing. It can be when you're building things in the computer, hard drives. What just don't mess with that. Um, so just try doing that. I'm getting long, and the fire is kind of. I apologize if this I've got the camera at holding it different, and I'm trying to do this fireplace, which I think it looks like the room's burning up, but it's not. We'll listen to it crackle. So you do hearing. Um, just try to use your senses a little bit more, and let the world take care of itself. Don't try to figure anything out or ask about why or this, that, and the other, or trying to figure things out. What ifs, how comes. Just sit and be. Just be for a while. So that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to get into, I think those are the two functions that are probably the most different for, in my opinion, for INFP would be extroversion and sensing, because we do think and we are judgers. We are judgers. We judge a lot, and the judging function means something else too. It's really weird. Hadn't really caught on to that, but I appreciate you. We are getting there with the subscriptions. If you haven't subscribed and you like what you see, please do so. It'd be nice if I got to 1,000 in the next few months. I didn't care when I first started out, now I do. So if about 50, a little over 50%, we're doing better. It was 2/3 had not subscribed that watch, and that was about half. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. Comment below. I do love your comments. Like and share. I think the word is starting to get out. And I will go outside when it gets warmer. We'll be going outside at some point. So until next time, as usual, as I appreciate you, stay safe.